Hello world. Alright, we're live. I changed the camera today. Trying something new every time. So, where we left off, let's see, is my screen sharing? It is. So, last stream I was kind of just working on refining the shapes of this helmet and trying to get it done as soon as possible. That was my sort of the desire at the time. But then halfway through that, I realized that it's kind of lacking something. And I realized it's lacking design. It lacks like the idea that I wanted to just sort of iterate on it as I work on a model. Felt a little bit restrictive because, when you're designing, you don't want to be messing with topology, you just want to be in a flow, you just want to be creating shapes, right? So what I did is I took this sculpt, which at the time was actually I have a screenshot. So I took this, which I heavily modified. Okay, come on. Sorry, Photoshop screen management is okay. Photoshop. Let's use a shortcut. What is it? Windows Shift Left Right? Yeah. That no. Come on, Photoshop. There we go. I think I moved an app over. On times like this, I just wish I was a Mac user. So I took this guy and I painted over it, and this is the concept sort of I came up with. And originally, just as a reminder, this was just a sculpt. This was like this, and one thing that I decided to change is I really like that sort of quick 3D scan based sculpt that I did. The guy has such a cool like facial features, so I wanted to see more of it. And I think in general, viewers, whoever is going to be looking at this thing, would rather see a face than a warm, cheerful face rather than a cold metallic helmet. So changing the design quite a bit. So I'll have Photoshop now. After it took me half an hour to move it over, I'll move it back onto other screen. Oh, Windows management ain't fun. So I'm going to be using this as a reference to basically go from here to here. And the next step, I think I want to try doing it, trying to do cleanup in Blender, because there's a few add-ons, and just the idea of maybe instead of doing it all in ZBrush, I can get a pair of fresh eyes and render the sculpt, work on refining some shapes using Blender's tools, yeah, and and go from there. So let's start, shift, right arrow to move it to the right screen, and basically I want to match it as close as possible to the concept, and make sure that all of the shapes are clean and like kind of makes sense. So there's a little bit of a weirdness going on over here. We're gonna clean this up. Or like big clay brush with use tablet off. It just like really lets you build up some form in a clean form, which is important. Let me make sure that stream is running. And it looks like it is. Awesome. Oh, one thing I can do is I can add the reference so you guys can see what I'm building here. Window capture. Wow, OBS sees every Photoshop floating window as a separate instance. Scary. Doesn't seem like it's letting me do it. No, probably not worth it. Yep. Alright, never mind. Hmm. Trying to see what profile I like most here. This or this. I think there's something about this kind of shape. Yeah, I like this. Edge polish or trim dynamic to sort of clean this up. No, let's use edge polish. So it's kind of like a weird stepping here. One life hack that helped a lot is I stopped using move brush for hard surface stuff and I started using snake hook. Just distorts forms a lot less. I wonder if this was flat. No, too much. Maybe if it was flat, it should be just flat like this. And here. Mask just the part we want. Clip the part we want. Alt-X. So this could take some time, but that's kind of the bread and butter of what this is all about, right? I want to work on improving my designs. And the only way to improve designs is to design and iterate. A little bit of an awkward space here, but I managed to mask it just fine. Alt X, we have it mirrored. So this is where the glass piece is going to be held in place. Haven't adjusted it in a bit, so it probably doesn't match it. But yeah, it'll be fitted in here, and I just want something like decently interesting enough that will hold it. I love moving with symmetry. This is kind of fun to just sort of take a piece that has like a sci-fi thing to it and just move it around and be like, hey, what if we had a visor like this? What if we had a visor like this? What if there was a piece like this? You're kind of just like breaking up form into segments using a box that you can stretch. But it should be more here. And with snake hook, we're gonna clip it in place. And move. It's not looking great yet, but we're gonna fit it in place. Nothing ever looks great from the get-go. You gotta massage it for it to get better. Might as well maybe build more of this glass. Because what it does, it creates this nice negative space that also needs to be designed. It can be just whatever. For anything organic, kind of hard surface, clay brush is so good. I lived a long life before I realized how good it is. Roughly something like this. So in here, it needs to be something like that. And then I want a slightly harder edge at the bottom. And this has too high of intensity, so let's lower. Not that low. 15. Excellent. Kind of hard to visualize with this thing being not transparent. But if I hide it, it's close. Mm-hmm. Oh, this is fantastic. The way clay brush sort of ignores the topology and creates forms. Love it. Good enough for now. I'll hide it. Polypaint is a fantastic design tool. Oh, I know what's missing. Trying to align the lines so they're not all over the place. Kind of important with hard surface stuff to have your edges and sort of design elements be a little bit lined up and sort of be the part of the same manufactured surface as opposed to being all over the place. Because I wanted to have a very like manufactured look. Okay, we're gonna interpolate 3. No. We're just gonna draw 2. I like the idea of like these sort of straight lines and how they are mirrored inside and outside. Okay, so this is a hard shape here. First of all, we don't need a black line. And we don't need this crap. Oh, separate subtool. Yeah, I started splitting up subtools a bit, but now I'm confused as to where's what. Kind of disadvantage of, I think when you don't have poly paint, it darkens the non-active subtools. And when you do, you're kind of screwed. Unless there's an option, but I don't want to look that up right now. Can we dynamesh you? Yes, we can. The reason I separated it is so I can use a clip brush more freely here, and even with it being separated, there's still a bit of an overlap happening, but no biggie. You can always mask. used to stress out when I had a lot of shapes, trying to match them together, uh, fit them so they kind of fit perfectly. But now I'm starting to like it. It's sort of a nice little design exercise because matching two pieces is hard as to like from a design standpoint because you have to figure out how shapes overlap, what their relationship to each other. They have to have a smooth transition. You have to wait for autosave. So many fun things. So the shape that I mentioned that's difficult is this, because it's like this sort of a wing, kind of a 1, 2, 3, like like a bird's wing. There's a bird, but it's challenging in all 3 dimensions. So I'm gonna try to get it right and not floppy like it is right now. But yeah, this is the part of the process where in the past I kind of get my first design sculpt, like whatever this is. Where is it? Like something like this, and then go under it to apologize and be done with it. But this is the first iteration of a design. I mean, halfway through it, I'd lose interest to what I'm working on because I realize that design is actually not that great. So now we're doing the opposite. We are like get into the nitty gritty of like forms and how they work together. And then the hope is that I'm not going to get bored when I actually start cleaning it up and preparing it to be rendered. So kind of like I hate how this takes up, like it has too much weight to it. It feels like it's got like something too big to be there. So what I'm gonna do is mask it. Mask it real good. And like I think, well, we can unmask this for sure. Now, there you go. We can make it even bigger. Where did you go? Okay, so scale down, move back. See, that's what I want it to feel like more. It's more of a secondary thing that sort of sticks out there. And now we gotta clean up again because, moving things around and stretching them. But yeah, now we have a right hierarchy. It's sort of a big, small, medium. Still not perfect, but much better than before. Hmm. This piece I think is a little bit too flat now. But we can do something like this. Just pick this as our pivot point and then come on, and then whoop. Too much. Move would probably be better. Oh, my symmetry wasn't on. Yeah, kind of inclined towards this kind of a shape again. But this is better than what I had before. Okay, clay. I changed this helmet shape so much. Nando says, really nice dude, greetings from Brazil. Thanks, Nando. Still haven't been to Brazil, but it's on my list. I guess it's not that far from Canada, is it? I guess everything is relative. Like I do a lot of international traveling. I'm going to Turkey on Friday, so I'll be gone for a week, but then I'll be back for more streaming. Should be a nice, relaxing vacation. So one thing I'm thinking how what I want to do with this entire channel and what are some of the things that I can be doing here. Um, Kind of really want to do some paint over slash sculpt over streams. So if you would be interested in any kind of sculpt overs, send me a message, leave a comment down below, and we can arrange something like that. Would be nice to just sort of engage with the community more, um, do some critiques or something like that. Haven't done this in a while, so I need my practice. This this is fun to kind of just see how can you make this shape more interesting, and just like how much refinement can you give it before you really love it. That's kind of the motto I have doing this right now, as opposed to just getting shit done, because you deal with getting shit done in all aspects of your life in one way or another, and I don't want to be stressing about deadlines when I'm doing personal art. I might never finish this because I'm not stressing the deadline, but at the same time, there's only so much stressing you can do in your life. No need to add more. I do have a folder with like thousands of sketches that will never see the light of a day. But we'll get this one done, I promise. Got you guys to hold me accountable. Anyway, what I was doing, I forgot what I was doing. If I talk, I stop paying attention to what I'm sculpting. If I'm sculpting, I stop paying attention to talking. And I think you'd rather see me guys sculpt. Unless you want me to talk. Leave the comment down below. Tell me what the fuck you want. Oh, this autosave. Okay, sometimes you just need to blur shit out. That's it. Good enough. So here, I want this piece. Let's separate it out. So it's a perfect polygroup. So I'm just gonna press Control 7, invert that mask. Move this bad boy down. And after I move it down, I'll press Control W. So it's like 2 polygroups now. And close holes. Now, as you might notice, we have a watertight mesh. Polish by features. Plain old polish. Feels more hard surfacey now. Okay, back to this guy. Let's give it some roof. Right. Make sure to press C to color pick and then close holes, and that will close it with a proper color. Life hack. Write it down. And actually, we don't need any of this here. So I can just kind of give a couple broad clay strokes. Make sure backface masking is on. And this is gonna be rebuilt in Blender. One of the reasons I want to do it in Blender is I want to try some procedural panel line details. I think that would be cool. Maybe we'll do some geometry nodes on live on a stream. You can see it gets cleaner, starting to at least. Let's move that bottom. Clay to build up, flatten to flatten. Easy peasy. Let's look at my reference again. So the shape got quite inflated, so gonna get some edge polish going, get that sharp edge back, and we can build it up with edge polish as well, just sort of that volume here, while trying to preserve the sharper edge in the center. And in here, sometimes it's helpful to do like a shinier shader. In fact, all the time it's more helpful to see a good highlight. Silver is actually a nice one. So this is supposed to be kind of more flat and flush. That's kind of cool. That's really cool. Shall we change the design again? That happy accent was way too happy. Adjust last is fantastic for this. There we go. He's a samurai now. Kind of gets like a strange, strangely samurai-like helmet vibes. Let's I like this. I like this a lot. Might be worth doing a quick render to see how it looks like with lighting on. But it's something I can polish or change. Like I can remove this quite easily, right? So maybe I'll keep it for now. Let's see what it looks like with the face part. Not bad. So we can do a quick render in KeyShot and see what it looks like. Okay, make sure that external render KeyShot is on, and we're just gonna press the magic button. All right, you should see KeyShot by now. So in here, I'm gonna grab, actually I'll open my previous guy, because it already has lighting and everything. All right, here he is, and let's just update ZBrush. Oh, interesting. Okay. BPR. You can see we lost all of the materials, but that's fine. I'm just gonna grab basic glass, drop it on his face or his visor, And I'm gonna grab paint, and we're gonna use like paint like this. Alright, so I changed the amount of objects I have, so it's a little bit more tedious now, but not a biggie. And I'm all dragging it. Yeah, this is not bad. But honestly, the shape is kind of so soft, so subtle that I barely know it's there. Unless I look at it from the front. Oh, this is cool. Let's see without it and with it. Okay, BPR. I like how it mimics sort of the lower one. Come on. Without it, the lower it's more like a triangular thing. So it's more like this right now, which is powerful. Triangle is a good sort of aggressive shape, but with that thing, it looks more like this. So it leads more the composition more towards the face. Um, decisions. Let's look at it once more time. Yeah, no, I think we got ourselves a winner. What I'll do is I'll fade it in over here. Something like this. Sometimes it's nice to just shut up and sculpt. By the way, you can see the brush I'm currently using in the top left here, so it's flattened right now. I love flat and without use tablet on. It works sort of like H polish, but I don't know, has a nice feel to it. But only when tablet is disabled. When it's on, everything gets wobbly. And H polish works. I find it works better with tablet on. Lazy radius 5, maybe less. What happened here? Oh, I messed it way too far out. Yeah. this is what happened there. Oh well. Oh, tablet. And as you can see, this guy got eventually demolished, but it's still there. It's just more subtle. Like, I want the top to be more aerodynamic, I think. And I don't want it to be too... I'm imagining this guy is more of a speed-oriented space guy. I actually have the whole lore written out and what I want to do with this character already, but that will come later. Like and subscribe to find out what it's gonna be. Is it gonna be a space guy? Is it gonna be a space guy with a gun? Is it gonna be space guy with a space pitchfork? I don't know. So the goal here is to make sure that all shapes are refined enough so that in Blender I don't have to do any guesswork. At least I think we're gonna go to Blender. It's nice to get a refresher, like look at things from different angles, different render engines. Like Keyshot gave me a huge morale boost here because I was just sort of doing it on autopilot, just sculpting whatever sci-fi. But seeing it in Keyshot, I was like, okay, we need to tell a story. And I also got to look at my reference more because I'm starting to wing it, even though he's already sort of designed. But design is not done until it's done, so a little bit of deviation is fine. You don't really need as many details as you think you do. I'm saying that because this guy was a lot more detailed, and I had to simplify him down after rendering it in real lighting, because it's a helmet. It's not a freaking micro scheme. Like you want to be able to use it and not get caught on all of the panel lines, right? So a little bit of simplification is good. using Mike Nash's brushes. But I think this is a job for a good old standard. Oh yeah. So instead of trying to bend it, the glass needs to be relatively sort of like, it's an eggshell, right? So I'm gonna adjust the mask and I'm gonna get some water. Oh, great. But I guess that's fine. I drew through. Gotta enable backface masking on those other brushes that I just added. Okay, so with this selected, hmm, I just wanna this. I wanna get this going, and let's move it. Rotate it. Really tempted to go up and do the whole like this thing, but that's what I stepped away from because I didn't want it to be too covering face too much. And now I'm trying to figure out how this whole thing attaches to the glass. Probably something like this, more or less. Once again, it's not perfect, but I don't need it to be. I just need it to be feel like it's properly attached, like the volume is. Yeah, it's, I think works well from a distance, and we can clean it up a bit. This we can probably just easily fix using backface masking and just like draw like this and fixed. So I'm gonna simplify once again and get it closer to concept, because in a concept it's just a very flat shape here. Oh yeah, instantly looking much better. Now, one thing that really helps us to making sure that your big shapes that are hard surface and that they are polished. And then the small stuff, you can just sort of hand sculpt that in. Okay. We have this piece here that sort of like a protective plastic type of a deal. Or interior over the helmet. So we're gonna end up with a few pieces which is gonna be handy for retopo because we can just sort of hide stuff and but I haven't really decided, like I don't have a full retopology plan of how I'm gonna do it. Because Blender sounds fun right now, but sometimes you just want to kind of do it quickly in ZBrush, where you can iterate on the design. We'll find out next year, once I'm back from my travels. And I think next thing we're gonna do more simple, although knowing myself, probably not. So you can see the design starts to come together. Like if you look at before and after, this is what we had last time, and it's kind of it's a jumbled mess. There's too many details all over the place. But now I'm simplifying shapes, defining sort of what's important, and we're starting to get somewhere interesting. Maybe I'll do a whole animation with this guy. Who knows? Once again, if you guys have any requests or you want to participate, like submit your work for Paintover, just shoot me a message. You know where to find me. And yeah, maybe like send me a link to like a Dropbox link in the comments to your sculpt, and I can help you out with anatomy or design, anything. I like having this poly painted geometry so I can use snake hook or move and move shapes around without losing the idea of what the design is. And yeah, in my sketch I eliminated those little dots. That was kind of fun, but didn't fit the rest of the shape language. Move brush is wildly underrated. Use move a lot, use it all the time. It's good. Hmm. So what do you have here? The back is fairly okay. I'm not a fan of this area. So I'm using a lot of smooth just to kind of clean shapes up, see them better with highlights. Maybe this has something like this. And this is where I'm sort of winging design. It would be cool to take this and the paint over, which I might do. But for now, this is enough for me to just sort of try a cool shape, see if I like it. I'm still like very much traditional. I like to paint over and just like explore different ideas in 2D, because then you're not limited to geometry. You can really just stretch and pull things, but not to say that you can't do it in ZBrush. With all the Sculptors Pro functionality, it's also possible. Okay, I'm gonna clean this up quite a bit by just getting rid of this edge so I can actually see. We don't need it anymore because the shape is separated, right? So that's what polypaint allows you to do. It basically allows you to separate shapes without actually separating them, just separating them visually based on their color. And that's great. Do I have Dynamesh? Let's Dynamesh this. What do we have here? The shape is wobbly. I like wobbly shapes. Cleanup always takes so much. Oh yeah. Yeah, I like this. I like this sort of rhythm better. It's like there's this guy and then there's this guy. They're about same width and they have this sort of a nice protrusion to it. It's visual rhythm. I'm gonna enable RGB on flat brush, so I get rid of this edge here, and then disable it. Maybe clay would be better here. Dynamesh, blur. Like I said, it's fun to just sort of play with these overlaps and see how one shape wraps around another. There's infinite variety of ways to do this, so I like playing with that. It's fun to try to mimic those CAD sort of manufacture aerodynamic and CAD design shapes using a ZBrush. Not the easiest thing, but that's one of the best ways to just sort of feel the shape by sculpting it. I'm almost at the point where I'm starting to get happy with this part. I just need to polish it a bit more and almost there. Oh yeah, love these highlights. This makes me realize I need an edge here, which I used to have. I lost it. Paint, let's fix the design a bit. So we have a mushy form here. And all I'm doing is I'm integrating those shapes better. So here, we continue from here and we'll and when we do our topology, this will give us a reference as to where to place points. Doesn't matter that they don't align, it's all going to be retopologized into a single shape. Always zoom out and sort of look at your design from distance. Make sure it reads, make sure it doesn't feel too noisy. And one thing that I want to do here is I want to do everything I can to sort of keep that helmet gesture. you're basically as a concept artist in sci-fi industry, especially in sci-fi genre, you're trying to come up with as many different ways to make a straight line not suck, make a straight line not boring, and the more ways you can do it in, the better. Just breaking up those straight lines into something. It's funny I said that as I created a perfectly straight line, but it's also important to not overdo it, because if you have all of your every line is fancy swirly thing, then you'll end up with a mess and you won't have a readable silhouette or a readable shape language. And I'm kind of going for more of a iconic design, and iconic design is called for a reason. It's iconic because icons are small and recognizable. So making it easy to recognize is a goal. Simpler shapes, bigger shapes. See, I added this thing and immediately regretted it. Maybe this is what it needs. Just sort of the glass has something to rest on. Oh yeah. Yeah, I love like a good edge detail that just sort of feels real. That. Oh yeah. And this way, like this is sort of the gesture that I originally had. Like I had these kinds of, oh, this is more cleaned up version, but I had a detail like this in here. You can see that the straight line is broken up in this sort of a weird way. So I was thinking of a way I can integrate this into here, and I think this is the sort of the most believable and simple way I could do it. It just sort of creates more detail around the eye, which is important. So I'm kind of thinking that his jaw is hanging very low, like the helmet portion of it. So I'm thinking instead of moving the helmet up, I could just maybe extend the face. Or I could be a bad boy and ruin the design. Everything I've sculpted. Yeah, this feels better. I like how open this helmet is compared to the original plan, and how much you're able to see inside of it. I'm gonna do auto groups here. Oh, was this dynameshed? Doesn't look like it. Yep, so control drag with stuff masked, and you can duplicate without creating a new subtool. And we can play around with where this will go. I love moving things around. It might have been better to just do extract, but this will do for now. So I'm trying to get that kind of like an under helmet. If you ever watched racing, you'll see that Formula One racers, they have these cloth, cotton type of balaclavas underneath their helmets. I think it's important for spacemen to have those, so their hair don't get sweaty and itchy. Trust me, I'm a VR user, I know what it is. Good enough for now. So looking at it from the front, and I kind of want to be able to adjust the bottom shape without affecting this little protrusion that I like. So what we can do is, since we have perfectly painted polypaint, do from polypaint, new polygroup, and that should be enough to take this to outer groups, maybe. No, it wasn't enough, but now I can click on this and I can see, like, using, actually this is not too bad. I can just use mask this guy to Control W. Now we're gonna split hidden and we'll close holes. And now I can do cool things like this. Bam. Except let's take this guy, press Control 7, inverse the mask, move in like this, press Control W to close to create a new polygroup, and then we're gonna remesh it, and then we're gonna polish by features, and now it's gonna look a lot impressive when I say we can do cool things like this. There we go. So I'm trying to kind of get a feel for this bottom portion. Looking at it from the front, making sure it's got like a good silhouette to it. And eliminating the wobbly parts. 90% of this job. Kind of want to have it more like a negative, yeah, something like this. Oh, come on. Why is this so hard? Yeah, but from this angle. Maybe it's just a matter of just cutting on this little edge that I got here. Oh yeah, that's all it was. Let's grab a good Nash brush. No. Wait, I thought I had these as two separate subtools. Guess it was this another thing. I guess let's... What the heck, let's separate this. Wait for autosave. Oh, come on. Okay, this is the hardest game. There we go. Good enough. Control W. Split hidden, close holes. Close holes. Perfect. Okay, what I was doing here. So good to have a concept done. just experimenting with forms here. And that starts to make more sense in terms of shape design. I think I'm gonna spend like a couple hours more on this, maybe a little bit more, like 5 hours, just to get a finalized, refined version of this design. And then from there, we'll retopologize it, add some extra details, um, and then either Unreal or Blender, render it out, animate it, maybe turn it into a meta-human. There's definitely going to be some substance painting here, because I want those chipped edges on the helmet. Paint some nice decals. Yeah, this is good. I like when lines connect. That top of the helmet's been giving me so much trouble today. Simplifying this. Yeah, already feeling much better. Come on, switch subtools. There we go. Okay, so what do we have here? This guy is overdue for a bit of a cleanup. Fill object. Let's draw a new circle here. Perfect circle. I like making little faces. This is like a fish face. It's got two eyes here, a little mouth. There's one here. Two eyes, little mouth. Such a happy little guy. Okay, and this we're just gonna handle with good old standard. symmetry is a bit broken here, so I'll just mirror and then mirror and weld, so it's the symmetry that I like on both ends, on both sides. Clay brush is amazing. Okay, I'm gonna do move infinite with acro curve, stick this guy out more, and then trim him so he's more like this, the guy at the bottom. And let's see how it looks. Looks like crap. Uh, mm. So alternatively, what I can do is really polish it out. And now that it's more or less polished, one sec, what's going on here? Let's grab a Mike Nash brush, something that has that sort of a profile. Maybe it was this one. Yeah, see, it's much cleaner than trying to clean up a mess. It's a lot easier to just draw a precise, nice precise stroke. So I think that's how this one was born, this shape. So I just gotta experiment and try to get it the way I want it to be size-wise. Yep. Remember how I said you that told you that move brush is the best? This is it in action. So in here, if I grab something like this, so there's an edge. Trying to figure out how it goes, but I think it's something like this. Yep. Maybe not quite as dramatic. I'm gonna start wrapping up now because I'm a little bit tired. Been a long day. But in a nutshell, I think I'm much happier with this design than our original. And I'll be able to finish it up. It'll be my first piece in the new year. It's gonna be glorious. We're gonna render it in something fancy. Maybe I'll animate it. Oh, use tablet is on, that's what's up. Once again, just move, get it in place. Let's do a quick render, see what it looks like compared to our concept. Oh, come on. There we go. Pretty cool. So this is the concept. This is where we are. Lens is a bit off. Let's just, I think it's 60. No, it's maybe. No, I think it was 60. Oh, I might have squished the head a bit. So I'm liking it much better on that there's not as much detail on the sides of the helmet. This will give me some room for a nice little decal, for some 2D kind of detail. But overall, this is pretty good. So next stream, whenever I get a chance, we're gonna retopologize it, make it nice, and we're also gotta finish the body. For now, I'm just gonna do the shoulder pads and like some basic bust, but I might explore this character further, turn him into a full body statue. Cool. Thanks a lot, guys, for showing up. I appreciate every like you leave and every question you ask. And I'll see you next time. Thank you.